About to do a trade up, guys. I'm a little bit nervous. I hate to part with these wheels. They've been with me through, Iron 3, Iron 6, and Champ 17, but, it's for a good cause. Yo, no. Sorry, I'm trying to stir up my mud water right now. I feel like drinking coffee and pre workout on the same day is probably not the best for my cardiovascular health. But at the same time, this company Mudwater sent me like 3 cases of their stuff because they put me on a subscription service when I very clearly just clicked one time purchase. You know how they like to do that now? They like to think that you would prefer to subscribe to their product, which why the hell would I subscribe to something that I don't even know what it does? It's like a hydrophobic powder too. You have to continue to stir it, otherwise it'll like chunk up. It's a little bit grainy. It tastes good. It kind of does taste similar to coffee. Good product, bad companies. My buddy had to do the same thing. We both had to send rude emails, hole in the hole. Yo, you owe us money. My daddy's a lawyer. My dad works for Microsoft. He's gonna get you banned. I don't like being that guy, but I had to be that guy because they made me spend like $100 on their product when I only wanted $20 worth of it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Or maybe it is. You'll end up spending too much money on the grass-fed tobacco if you let it get away from you. You don't want to do that. So in this video, I'll discuss my experience with it, like my first time, second time getting exposed to it, how it made me feel, what I think about it, and then the next video this week is going to be a deeper dive into what it does and how it affects you mentally and why is it so easily accessible these days. Cartridges are a very strange anomaly. I don't like those. The delivery system of them is just far too easy nowadays. But the first time I got involved in it, what was it? I think I was a sophomore or junior in high school. One of my friend's hot sisters brought it over for us, and she insisted on shamaning us for the experience, but we didn't want to be weird around her, so we said, no, no, we got it. It's okay, we can do it. None of us wanted to be weird around her because we all had crushes on her growing up. So we walked to the end of my street. There's this cul-de-sac and this giving tree type beat looking Hogwarts specimen of a plant, which was awesome. And it might have been on somebody's property now that I think about it. But there was like an old couple that lived there. I'm pretty sure they were just enjoying their late night cops, crime watch, or Hallmark soap operas to care. Honestly, they were probably our safe haven. That's probably why that piece of property felt like such a sanctuary. And we ended up utilizing that later on for summers to come. It was my first time trying it. A couple of my friends, not their first time, so they were definitely going to feel something. And that's the thing, you always remember your first time. But when it comes to this green paint, green paper towels, you recognize or you remember it because nothing really happens. Researchers don't even know why, to be honest. I was trying to do some primary research on my own before this video to see why that was the case. So far, the consensus is that maybe it's your brain trying to protect you because it's such a foreign substance that you're indulging in, or your anxiety just takes over and you don't feel anything because you're so worried about someone catching you. Either way, I didn't feel anything. My friends were definitely feeling something, laughing hysterically. I was still enjoying myself because they were enjoying themselves. Lots of salivating, lots of animal noises were extracted from their lungs. A lot of buffoonery, running around on golf courses, playing with the flags, jousting with the golf course flags. I don't know why that was a common theme. I didn't feel anything other than anxiousness, but it wasn't too bad because like I wasn't mentally inebriated, so it was easy for me to, sleep that night. We buried what was left in my backyard, and then a couple weeks later, some time goes by, and another friend comes over, and he's like, "Yo, I think I know what I'm doing with this stuff. So let's try it again, just you and me." Okay, I suppose I'll let you shaman me, sir. Let's go. So we go over to his parents' house where they were on vacation, and regardless of whether or not they were on vacation, we decided to smoke in his basement and just open a window. But there's no way it didn't skunk up the house for the next week. Because it's still, like, if you smelt it, it's pretty dense. It smells like skunk, but also like a cooked version, like a smoky version. Imagine that. So we're in his basement. He's loading up this cracked pipe that he's got scotch tape around the mouthpiece so that we didn't puncture our lips. We probably loaded one too many rounds in that chamber, or just for amateurs or noobs of it. That was a little overzealous, and maybe what made me feel the way that I did. But I noticed something was a little weird because after like the third one, I go and bend over to pick up my water bottle, and it feels like I fell through the ceiling and fell over, kind of like that little girl that has her whole onesie getup on. She kind of looks like Santa Claus's little helper, and she falls over on the ice, and her head just kind of like sticks to the floor, and she's suspended like in a 90-degree triangle area. That's kind of what happened to me, except I entirely fell over and rolled over. I'm like, interesting. I'm losing motor function. That's a new feeling. I also hadn't really drank before. I had like a couple beers in the past. And I'm like, this just tastes bad and I don't feel anything. Drinking is stupid. To make us some macaroni if you want some, would you mind cleaning the piece for me? Just rinse it out with water. You'll be fine. Like, oh, okay, yeah, totally, I can do that. Honestly, I was glad that he gave me a task to do because my mind was racing and spinning around in circles. I didn't understand how to comprehend it. So I take it to the bathroom, rinse it out with water, and then before you know it, I teleport to his room. I'm like, that's weird. I should be in his bathroom right now, rinsing it out. And I look down, it's not in my hands, and I go to the bathroom, and the pipe was in the bathroom with the water running. I'm like, did I already do this? So I rinse it out again, and then once more, I teleport into his room. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. Tyler, help! It felt like I was lucid dreaming, except I didn't have control of anything. And that's what it felt like. I was blacking out like every 30 seconds and was forgetting what was going on. So I just had to sit down for a minute. I don't know what I was doing. I was like playing with a tech deck board or something, just trying to keep my mind a little bit stimulated while I was going clinically insane. We go outside and longboard for a little bit. That helped, the fresh air. And once it wore off a little bit, I just felt like a little bit enhanced. Anxious, but enhanced. But for a long time, I was still nerve-wracked by it. So I didn't touch it for a while, probably another year. And then I destroyed my pinky in the lake. I was wrestling with my friend, and I grabbed this water pipe that was covered in zebra mussels. And if you don't know what zebra mussels are, they're the mosquitoes of the lake, basically the devils of the water. They latch on to anything they can. They don't purify the water. They'll latch on to fish, and they just cut things up. Horrible piece of matter. Can't stand them. Anytime I see them, they get smashed. Hulk smash. Very mature of me, I know. But I can't stand them. They cause me a great deal of grief. Grief? Great. Grated cheese. I ended up playing golf with my dad later that day, even though like I noticed that it was probably not a very safe cut. My arm was covered in blood. Later on, he takes a look at it and he goes, "Oh God, why did you come play golf with me?" I go, "Because you told me it was cool." He's like, "Yo, you need stitches. Your finger is falling off." It wasn't really falling off. I needed 12 stitches, but then we came to realize that like while I was getting the stitches, I didn't really feel anything. So it turns out that I severed a nerve, damaged a couple tendons, so into surgery I had to go. And now still there's like if I tap my finger, I get like little electric neuron shocks in my pinky. There's still some nerve damage in there, which is kind of funny. It's a good story. It's a good little party trick. I can't feel parts of my pinky. So what happens after surgery? I get greeted by my friends. And what did they bring over? Green peas. That's right. Food for cows. Hay bales. And I was like, all right, fine. The new Black Ops 2 map pack came out. We're ripping Buried for like 3 hours. Sure. I suppose. And that time, I actually liked it. And that's when I should have been worried. Because for the rest of that summer, that's all I was doing. They would go and play on the lake or go to the pool and then come back to my house for nighttime activities. And we would just repeat that. I borderline don't remember most of that summer. It was also a long time ago. So from that point on, I was interested in the substance. And then my parents caught on eventually. They were like, "Why does your upstairs smell like firecrackers? Why are your eyes red? Why do your fingers smell weird? Did you do your summer reading?" I go, "Yes." Unbeknownst to me, my mom had already read the books. and I had only done a little bit of SparkNoting or Cliff Notes on the internet. So she would quiz me a little bit, and I had no idea what I was talking about. So I dug myself a grave right there. She caught me red-handed. That was some FBI work on her part, honestly. Respect. I'm afraid of it because I was scared of my parents growing up. I didn't like getting punished because I was already like the troubled kid. I only had one brother, and he was a very good child. He would do what they say. He was smarticle. He didn't get himself involved in too much mischief. I was the one that challenged him a little bit. You know, you get ballsy, you start tapping into it again, you think that you're smarter, and then you get sloppy, and then I got caught again, and then they started testing me frequently. So for a while, even up until like freshman, sophomore year of college, I was not doing it. I would touch it here and there because my fraternity was into it. So like sometimes on the weekends, I would indulge. But even then, I still didn't like it. I would have that constant paranoia, thinking that my parents were going to drive 3 hours to come test me. Foolish shit, right? But hey, you know, it kept me away from it for the most part, so that was good. I'll take that. And then it became legal in my state around COVID season. There was curbside pickup, and that's when I picked it up again and had no reason to be worried. No one could say anything because it was legal. I started slow, little by little. I'm like picking up more from the dispensary. I'm like picking up carts, and slowly but surely, I started like deteriorating my personality. I had little patience with people. If I didn't smoke, I wasn't having a good time. So I had to do some assessment there. But that's really my story with it. I today am managing my relationship with it. I probably am only indulging like once a week maybe, but I enjoy my sleep and I kind of miss dreaming. It's more fun to be sober most of the time. Let's just put it that way. It's too easy to be a stoner. And once it gets too easy and once you get too comfortable with it, you enjoy being on it so much that you feel weird when you're not on it. You don't it's almost like you don't feel like yourself when you're not. And that's when it's freaky. So next video, I'm going to talk about why you might want to stay away from it, or we'll have like an objective discussion on it, saying how it can affect people differently and why you might consider wanting to switch up your relationship with it.